Hello, everyone. Welcome to Lessons from Life. My name is Rebecca Collins. I am 40 years old, and for many years, I believed love could survive anything. I was married to Jason Brooks, a man 9 years younger than me. Despite our age difference, I loved him with all my heart. We had been married for 9 years and were raising two wonderful children, a 7-year-old son named Ethan, and our baby daughter Lily, who was only 8 months old. Jason worked as a mechanic at a local garage in Cedar Falls, while I stayed home, taking care of the children. Life wasn't perfect, but I thought we were a happy family. I couldn't have been more wrong. One Friday afternoon, I was getting ready to take the kids to the doctor. Ethan was already waiting in the back seat, and I was fastening Willie's baby carrier, when my hand touched something hidden underneath it. I pulled it out. It wasn't mine. It was a woman's silver bracelet with a tiny heart charm attached to it. My hands began to shake. I had never seen it before. I knew immediately it belonged to another woman. As I stared at it, memories I had ignored for months suddenly came rushing back. Jason had been acting differently. He stayed late at work almost every night. He guarded his phone like it contained a secret. Whenever I asked simple questions, he became irritated. Just 3 nights earlier, I had finally confronted him. "Jason," I said quietly while folding laundry, "we barely talk anymore. The kids miss you, and honestly, so do I." Without looking at me, he kept scrolling through his phone. "I'm tired, Rebecca." "You're always tired." Before he could answer, his phone rang. He stood up immediately. "I'll be right back." Instead of answering in front of me, he walked outside onto the porch. Something didn't feel right. I quietly moved closer to the window. His voice was low, but I heard enough. "I promise, it won't be much longer." A woman laughed on the other end. Jason smiled. "I'm only staying because of the kids." My heart shattered. I stepped outside before I could stop myself. "Who were you talking to?" Jason looked annoyed. "Why are you spying on me? I'm your wife, and you're acting crazy." I held up the bracelet. "Whose is this?" For a second, his face turned pale. Then he forced a smile. "It belongs to a customer." "Don't lie to me." His expression changed instantly. "You know what?" he snapped. "I'm tired of explaining myself." Those words hurt more than I expected. I walked back into the house, trying not to cry. That night, Jason packed a small bag. Before leaving, he stopped at the front door. "You need to stop controlling me." Then he walked away. For 6 days, he never came home. Every evening, Ethan asked the same question. "When is Dad coming back?" I never had an answer. On the 7th day, Jason suddenly returned. To my surprise, he looked completely different. He hugged the children tightly. Then he turned toward me. "I'm sorry, Rebecca," he said. "I've made terrible mistakes." Tears filled his eyes. I don't want to lose my family. Part of me wanted to slam the door in his face, but another part remembered the man I had fallen in love with years ago. Then he made an unexpected suggestion. "Let's spend one weekend together. Just us. We need a fresh start." I hesitated. Finally, I agreed. 2 days later, we drove deep into the mountains to a quiet lakeside cabin. The place was beautiful. Tall pine trees surrounded the cabin, and the lake reflected the evening sky like glass. For the first time in months, Jason smiled. He carried our bags inside and started preparing dinner. "I'll cook tonight," he said. "You just relax." While he was in the kitchen, I walked onto the porch for some fresh air. When I returned a few minutes later, I stopped in the hallway. Jason didn't know I was watching. He quickly emptied a small packet of white powder into one of the coffee mugs. Then he stirred it carefully, before placing both mugs on the table. A cold feeling ran through my body. When he noticed me, he smiled. "There you are. I made your favorite coffee." I looked at the cup without touching it. Jason pushed it closer. "What? You don't trust me?" I forced a smile. But deep inside, I knew something was terribly wrong. I stared at the coffee mug. Jason smiled as if nothing was wrong. "Why are you looking at it like that?" he asked. I forced myself to stay calm. "I just remembered I left something in the car." I walked outside quickly. My heart was racing. For a moment, I thought about running away. But we were deep in the mountains, and I didn't even know the nearest town. Then an idea came to me. I returned to the cabin pretending everything was normal. Sorry, I said with a smile. Let's drink together. Jason relaxed immediately. While he turned to grab some plates, I quietly switched the mugs. He came back and raised his cup. To a new beginning, he said. We both drank. About 20 minutes later, Jason's face changed. He blinked several times. I feel strange, he muttered. Then he suddenly collapsed onto the couch. My hands shook, but I knew I had to act fast. I searched his jacket and found his phone. The messages on the screen made my blood run cold. Vanessa, did she drink it? Jason, tonight everything ends. Tomorrow the house is ours. Tears filled my eyes, but I kept reading. He and his girlfriend had planned everything. They wanted me gone, so they could sell our house and start a new life together. I immediately called the police. When officers arrived, they found the remaining powder in Jason's bag. It was a strong sedative. Jason was arrested that night. During the investigation, he confessed that he had planned to leave me unconscious at the cabin and disappear with Vanessa. Our marriage ended soon after. At first, life was difficult. I moved in with my mother, found a job, and slowly rebuilt everything from nothing. Years passed. I worked hard, studied at night, and eventually started my own business. 15 years later, I stood on the stage of a major company conference as its CEO. After the event, a security guard approached me. Ma'am, a man outside keeps asking to speak with you. I looked through the glass doors. A tired, gray-haired man stood there holding a worn jacket. It was Jason. For a second, our eyes met. He looked as if life had taken everything from him. But I felt no anger anymore, only peace. I turned to the guard and said softly, "Tell him I wish him well, but my life no longer belongs to my past." Then I walked away. That was the last time I ever saw Jason Brooks. He once tried to destroy my future. Instead, he pushed me toward a better one.